Hello, this is Samurai Lens, and today I will recap a survival drama and suspense movie titled 127 Hours. Spoiler alert, watch out, bring your drink, and take care. Aron gave birth to an interest in climbing the mountain. One Friday night, he packed his loads to climb the mountain alone. He received a voicemail call from his sister, but he didn't bother returning the call. He took his car, drove towards Canyonland National Park. As he got to the park, he started his video diary saying it was a Friday night on April 25, 2003, and he has decided to go on private hiking. He spent that night in his car, and the next morning he started his journey. He rode his bicycle to get to Blue John Canyon to hike. On the mountain, he overheard a conversation between two girls and called out for them. The girls were lost. He checked the map with them and asked if he could be their guide. Christy and Megan accepted him to be their guide. He took them to where they were looking for and then told them he had another great location for them. Led by Aron, they squeezed themselves between two mountains. Then Aron jumped down into the pool, which was some few meters below one of the mountains. Thinking he was injured, the girls were shocked and called out for him to be sure he was fine. He signaled that he was fine and requested them to come down. Christy followed suit. She really enjoyed jumping down into the pool, so she called out for Megan to join. Realizing how lovely jumping into the pool was, they did it repeatedly while taking pictures for memories. As the girls were leaving the mountain, he told them the location was named after Blue John, who worked at Butch Cassidy. Bid them goodbye and asked if they could meet again. The girls invited him to their party the next night at Green River, and he promised to be there. As the girls left, he continued his hiking. He was about to climb into a hole, so he checked the adjacent boulder to be sure it was firm. After confirming, he climbed down, but unfortunately for him, the boulder fell right after him and trapped his hand with the mountain. Aron tried to detach his hand to no avail. He screamed, but realized he was all alone. He reached out to his back bag with the other hand and removed a water bottle and sipped just a little, having in mind that he would have to stay there and he would need to manage his water. He checked the time. It was about 3 p.m. on Saturday, the 26th of April. He regained his strength and shouted for Megan and Christy, but the duo was no longer on the mountain. He tried to use his pocket knife to scrape out some part of the stone so his hand could come off, but his efforts were to no avail. Eventually, his pocket knife fell off. He struggled to pick up his knife using a rope, but it was impossible. Aron tried every means to survive for 24 hours. Exactly after 24 hours since he became stuck, he did a video recording. He mentioned his parents' names and their location. He also mentioned that whosoever finds the recording to please give the video to his parents. He said the person can take the camera if he or she wishes. He told his parents he is at Blue John Canyon and he got stuck exactly 24 hours ago. He says he is getting low on food and his water remained just a little. He said his fingers were becoming stiff due to a lack of blood circulation for about 24 hours. He became cold and kept himself warm using some rope and covered himself. He remembered that he got a voicemail from his mother that morning telling him his father was not around and she just wanted to check upon him. He recalled he had been invited to a party that night. He imagined what drink and wine could be at the party while hallucinating the party scenes in his mind. He sees the photocopy of Blue John Canyon's map and remembered when he went to do the copy. After he photocopied, Brian, his friend at the office, asked where he was going, but he didn't give the guy a precise reply. The next morning he woke up and tried to pull himself up, to no avail. He eventually gave up. He stooped to drink water, but he unfortunately poured his water on the floor. He made another video saying it is Monday and he had spent 48 hours. He had tried to set up a pulley, which didn't work out due to the friction. He said his hand is holding the rock and he would need more than just a pulley to bring himself out. He said he had little water, which could keep him alive for just 24 hours more, and he had peed twice. At first he almost peed on himself, but the second time he did it in a camelback. He told them there is a raven that comes every morning and every morning he gets about 15 minutes of sunlight. In his hallucination, he remembered his family and his sister playing the keyboard. He also remembered his relationship with his ex-girlfriend. He remembered one of their bedtime conversations when she was asking for a combination. A heavy rain brings him from his hallucination. He tried to take some rainwater into his bottle and drank some of the water. He imagined he was able to survive after the rain, then he went to a neighboring room to knock on their door. Coming back to reality, he did kind of like an interview to keep himself happy. In the interview, he said hi to his mum and dad, apologizing to his mother that he didn't pick up her call that morning, because if he had picked up the call, he would have told her where he was going. He also said hi to Brian, apologizing that he didn't come to work. After his usual video, he checked his earlier video with Megan and Christy. He paused the video in the middle, wanting to masturbate, but he controlled himself and stopped. He drank the last drop of water in his bottle. He was thirsty and attempted to cut himself and drink his blood. Eventually, he started drinking his urine. He recalled the day his ex-girlfriend, Raina, broke up with him. Her last words to him were that he would be lonely. He eventually concluded that he brought himself to that situation. If only he had told anyone where he was going, he wouldn't have been there. He said the rock had been waiting for him ever since he was born, and every step he took right from he was a kid, even up till that moment, took him closer to the rock. He apologized to his sister because he wouldn't be able to attend her wedding. On the 6th day, he gave up completely. He used his knife to write his RIP on the rock and passed out. In his normal hallucinations, he imagined his son looking at him, which gave him the will to survive. He creates a tourniquet from camelback tube insulation, tightened it, then used his knowledge to break his bone. By using his multi-tools, he eventually amputated his arm. He wrapped his injury to prevent infections. He took a picture of the rock before slowly walking away. He was dehydrated and needed water. He saw dirty water on the ground from the previous rain. He hiked down the mountain and drank the water before walking away. He saw a family who had come hiking. He called out for help, telling them his name and that he had been without food or water for 5 days. He asked for water. After drinking, he asked if they had a phone. They had a phone, but there was no service. He asked the wife to please run ahead to help him call the authorities. Before he collapsed, the authority came with a helicopter and took him to a hospital. Because of public sensation, Aron had several interviews, ending the movie with a textual epilogue. It was written that Aron's dream eventually came to pass. He met his wife Jessica a few months after the incident, and they gave birth to a son. Aron continued hiking, but having learned his lesson, he always leaves a note telling his family his destination. Thank you for watching, guys. It was Samurai Lens, and I'm excited for the next movie recap video. Don't miss it. Subscribe and share it for your loved ones. See you next time.